Hey guys, Krisha here. Please be cautious of any fake comments and emails you may receive from people pretending to be Mango Research. Sean and I will never, ever contact you for investment opportunities or anything of that sort. To get in touch with the real Mango team, make sure to join our official Discord chat using the link in the description below. Stay safe out there, and remember, do it Mango.
Good morning, guys. My name is Sean Dexter, and I welcome you back to the Mango Grove for your daily analysis video. Now, this is going to be a quick update on Solana. As you guys can see, Solana has hit our initial target of $100. But now, the big question that everyone has on their mind: what is next for Solana? So we're going to be addressing that question in today's video, and I'm also going to be giving you guys a recap on what essentially we did in our last video and in the interim between the last video and today's video, and what I'll be looking for Solana to do and how I'll be managing my trade going forward, especially since I'm going on vacation very soon. So how I'll be managing my trade is a little bit different compared to usual. Oh yeah, that being said, by the way guys, there won't be any daily videos for around the first week of September. So yeah, heads up on that. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and, well, let's jump right into it. We'll start with the dashboard like we normally do, and we'll go ahead and filter out Solana. And right over here, you guys can see that since the last video, Solana has gone up significantly, right? We got the trend reversal on both the Bitcoin pairing and the USD pairing around a month ago, right? And if you had taken the trade around then, you would have been up around 240% against USD and a good almost 200% against Bitcoin as well, which is pretty significant. But again, the trade is well underway now, right? And everyone's asking, should we still add to Solana? What should we be doing, etc, etc. So let's go ahead and talk about what I have done in thus far and what I'm looking to do. Okay, so again, quick recap on what we discussed on the last video. What did I say? I said that I'll be adding to my Solana position under a certain scenario if we keep going up, because I wasn't too comfortable adding so close to our targets, and our targets being around $95 to $97, right? In fact, as you guys can see right over here, we came up right up against that level between 95 and 97 at $96. Now we rounded off to $100. It's a good psychological level, and that level, right, was a level that I was looking to take some profits at. And because I'm looking to take some profits at that level, I wasn't too comfortable adding so close to the level unless we got a double confirmation. And what was that double confirmation, guys? Well, that double confirmation was essentially a candle close above the $78 level on the USD pairing, right? So $78 on the USD pairing, and a candle close above the 162,000 Satoshi level on the Bitcoin pairing. All right. Now, when we had done the video, we were somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around here, I believe, on the USD chart, we were looking at it. And I wasn't too comfortable adding around there. But Solana was gracious enough, generous enough to give us a pullback into a level that you couldn't not buy. And that level was essentially coming in on the dynamic, the daily dynamic. Now, this is a no-brainer trade, primarily because, well, the dynamic is a high probability trade, right? Number one. Number two, we got the dynamic pullback that confluenced with the Bitcoin pairing as well. So similar to how I was looking for that break, that daily candle close on the Bitcoin pairing as well as on the USD pairing, right? $79, $78 on the USD pairing, and around 162,000 Satoshi on the Bitcoin pairing. Well, similarly, if I see something that pulls back into that dynamic that happens on both the Bitcoin pairing as well as on the USD pairing, suddenly I'm feeling a lot more comfortable about that trade. Number one, because it's no longer that close to our target of around $100, because we got to pick up some more at 65. Instead of adding all the way at around $80, $79, $80, we got to pick up more Solana at around $65. Secondly, it was very easy to know if I was wrong on the trade and exit the trade with minimal damage if we broke the dynamic, right? Remember, when a trade is a high probability trade, it doesn't mean it needs to go your way, right? Probability is just that, probability, not a certainty. But what it does do is it proves as a very, very clear invalidation point. So right over here, right, the dynamic, when it pulled back on over to it, I was thinking, all right, now my life becomes easier. Because if you guys do remember from the previous video, guys, I had a very, very, like, I wouldn't say complicated, but my invalidation criteria was essentially, hey, if we get the fake out, it was on this candle if I remember correctly, if we get a fake out where we break towards the upside and then break down, then I'm going to be exiting. So I had to literally go through a two-step process to get invalidated, right? But over here, what instead happened on Solana was that it made it really easy for us to be wrong on the trade and know you're wrong. And that's what makes an easy trade, guys. Okay, not a certain profit, but knowing when you're wrong easily so you can take minimal damage quickly without thinking about it and go back to enjoying your family, your loved ones, etc., right? So you don't have to think about things too much. You don't have to stress. That's what I call an easy trade. What did Solana do? It did not give us that fake out, breakout, messy trade. It just came, hit that resistance level and pulled back straight on over to the dynamic. So I'm thinking over there, okay, I'll buy that. And if it breaks further down and closes underneath this level over here on the USD pairing and the Bitcoin pairing, you could have used either one for your invalidation, I'll just exit. I'll just take my loss and exit the entire trade at that point. But what did we see? We saw Solana instead actually hold on both of them, and we saw the up thrust towards the upside, right? Okay, so on that too, actually, guys, I do want to talk about how Solana has been so freaking beautiful, and this is one of the reasons why we also loved trading Chainlink back in the day, right? When Chainlink was a beautiful chart and we traded it aggressively over and over and over again until it stopped being beautiful, because hey, it's easy to trade and we'll take those easy stress-free trades. Remember from the last video, and I implore you guys again, go ahead and watch the last video because I really broke it down for you guys. And then one of the ideas that we talked about was how the weekly consolidation right over here, right? We talked about how we had a really nice weekly formation over here that broke towards the upside. And what did it form, guys? Well, it formed a daily bull flag somewhere around there, right? Let's go ahead and switch on over to the daily. We maybe got it right. Oh, we almost got it right over there. Let's go ahead and adjust the squiggly line right over there. So what happened? We had the weekly consolidation breaking out, impulsive move into a daily consolidation, pull back onto the dynamic. Easy trade to add. If you guys are in the Mango Seed program, you guys should be using Solana as the perfect example for the ideal trend situation in conjunction with the trend analysis module, right? We talk about these scenarios. Okay, so anyways, man, I'm sorry, Solana just gets me so excited because of how beautiful the chart is. But we had the consolidation, broke towards the upside, got that break on both pairings now, right? The USD pairing as well as the Bitcoin pairing right over there. We got those daily candle closes that we are looking for, that confirmation. So I was able to add for a second time. But now this time I didn't add as much as I intended on adding as my first position, because we already got our first add, right? Not first position, first add over here. So now I'm thinking, okay, our position's already really thick, but I'm really liking how this is looking. But I don't want to get too caught up in the trade because we are beginning to approach that $100 psychological level. And again, to be honest, guys, if I wasn't going on vacation, I would be adding to this trade more aggressively. But because I'm going on vacation, I want to be part of the trend without having to manage the trade too much, right? Because the more you add to your position, the more management you will have to do actively at the very least. Okay. So what's next now? What's next? What's next for Solana? We've gone on this long rant on what we did, how we did it, why we did it, but everyone wants to know what's next. Now, the unfortunate answer over here, guys, is that we don't know what's next. And this is one of the ideas, one of the strengths actually of trend trading. We basically at this point take our hands off the wheel and say we don't know. Well, not entirely off the wheel. Don't want to give that impression, but essentially we say that we're not trying to call a top over here anymore. Okay, well, $100 was a psychological level where we took some off the table, but at this point onwards, I'm leaving the rest of my trade in until the trend ends. Because, and again, we've talked about this idea multiple times in the live streams as well, right? What happens? How do trends form? You get your higher time consolidations. We had it on the weekly. We break out on over to the mid-time consolidations, consolidate, and then break out on over to the lower time consolidations, and this impulsive move keeps going until the trend starts falling, or rather reversing from the lower time frames on over to the mid time frames and on over to the higher time frames. So what are we seeing now? We got our weekly consolidation breaking up, daily consolidation breaking up. Now we're looking for that 4-hour consolidation. And what do we have? A beautiful 4-hour consolidation right up against that $96 level right over here. You guys can probably see the structure. Call it a bull flag, call it what you will, it doesn't really matter. Consolidation, pullback, and break towards the upside right over there. We got the break, guys. Perfect retest. That's how beautiful Solana is. An impulsive move. Right now, here's the thing. This next impulsive move could really last longer than people think. We aren't going to try to call a top on this. As trend traders at Mango, that is one of our core philosophies, right? We will never ever try to call a top or try to call a bottom. If we do manage to catch it, it's by pure chance and by pure fluke, right? We do not ever try to call a top or a bottom. The markets will trend higher than you can ever imagine, and the markets will trend lower than you can ever imagine. And you need to always account for that, because all it takes is one of those trades, guys, one of those trades to go in your favor to make your career. Believe me, all it takes is one and your career is set. And hell, even if you don't get one of those crazy moves where the trade just keeps going and going and going, you just need a trade like this, just like the one we caught on Solana, to make your year as a trader, right? At the very least 6 months, depending on your position size. But these kind of trades, guys, this is what being a trend trader is really all about. You strive for these kind of trades. Your mouth rules for these kind of trades, because you get one of these and now taking losses on your other trades, and you will take losses, right? I take losses all the time, but compared to the mammoth wins you get, right, the small losses that we take on the rest of the trades are irrelevant, and you're so stress-free about them, because you're like, hey man, I just need to catch one out of every 5, or maybe honestly, you catch a trade like this, you can lose like 10 times. I mean, you shouldn't, but those losing streaks won't matter anymore. So going back to what we were talking about, do we know where this is going next? No, because it becomes more and more difficult as the trend starts establishing. The markets get more and more irrational, and people just want part of the trend, and the trends go on for longer than we think. So all we can do now at this point is look for psychological levels, perhaps $110, $120. I'd be looking more towards $125 and $150, perhaps $200, right? Hey, all I know is that I have taken out enough of my position to feel comfortable on my vacation without having to manage this position too much. I've essentially taken out 22% of my position, which is a little bit more than I usually would have taken out at even a psychological level like $100, because I'm really aggressive on staying through with my trend trades. So I hope you guys were able to take something out of this, guys. I know to a lot of you new traders out there, you guys might be thinking, why is he rambling on this? It's not important. But believe me, the more you trade, you're going to realize that all of these psychological topics matter far more than simply knowing when to enter and when to exit. Because I could tell you guys, I'm doing this, I'm entering here and I'm exiting there, but you guys won't follow it. You guys won't do it because of the psychology that matters, and that you guys don't have the psychology to back up actually executing the trade, right? Which is why that video I did on Solana, a plan for $100, it was one of the lowest viewed videos that week. Nobody cared about the video. Nobody cared about an actual video where you could actually learn something from. They just wanted quick targets. And yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and now just quickly look at the oscillators to see if Solana is giving us any clues as to maybe it wants to, because I did get a PM from someone telling me that, hey, Solana is putting in bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, so we can go ahead and take a look at that. let's just quickly remove all of these squiggly lines over here so we can better analyze the chart. And okay, right over here, I'm not seeing any bearish divergence. You can't have bearish divergence when you're seeing the chart making a high and the RSI making a high, guys. This is immediately dismiss that situation. In fact, you did have bullish divergence right away. That was bullish divergence right over there. People clearly missed it because they're all looking for a top on Solana. Clearly, right, it has to come down because it's going up so hard. No, don't do that, guys. It's not the Mango way. Markets will keep going up, markets will keep going down, because that's what they do. And right over here, bullish divergence triggered and towards the upside. I wasn't looking at that though, but if you guys caught it, good on you. Let's go ahead and look at the 12 hour. Maybe the 12 hour telling us something. 12-hour time frame, stochastics looking like they do want to, not really. RSI is anything? Nope, nothing. People could make an argument over here for bearish divergence between this point and this point, but really I would say that's a little bit too far. It's a bit of a stretch. Let's go ahead and actually have some fun with this on the Mango Mother. And could you actually make an argument for this? Actually, perhaps not yet though. Remember, we need to still confirm this as a actual top before you can say that, hey, there is bearish divergence over here, right? There's a potential for bearish divergence, but if this just keeps going the way it is going at the moment, and this RSI starts shooting above the 82 zone, we don't have bearish divergence anymore. That is completely negated. Perhaps on the daily time frame, let's go ahead and reset the oscillators though, because I did adjust it. And on the daily time frame, there is a stronger potential for bearish divergence over here. But again, would I play it? I wouldn't really play that in a trend this strong. If it does pull back, remember, if you guys have been following the Bitcoin videos, how do I actually like to look at bearish divergences in a bullish trend? Well, I look for those bearish divergences to get a pullback into a buy zone for me to add to my position, right? So essentially, maybe that bearish divergence flips on over to bullish divergence, and then we get the continuation of a trend, right? We've seen that with BTC, and we took advantage of it. And hey, I won't hesitate to take advantage of it if that actually does play out after my vacation, not during my vacation. But daily too, this is the trend's looking strong, guys. The fact that we are following the chart so beautifully over here on the 4-hour time frame, had the impulsive move, came up against that $96 region. Remember, we were targeting 95 to 97, and Solana came smack right up between those two levels, put in a nice consolidation, broke, retest, and now seeing continuation. We can go ahead and look at the dynamic. Let's see what the dynamic's saying on the 4-hour time frame. I really think the daily is the time frame to be watching on the dynamic, but damn, the 4-hour really worked out over here too. So let's say you guys were playing the 4-hour time frame on the dynamic, right? But you see this pullback right over here, right? You see it break down. Be very careful to not get sucked into the lower time frames, guys, and zoom out and be like, wait a minute, is this pulling back on over to a major level time frame on the dynamic? And the daily is a major level. Especially, I'll give you guys a quick tip over here. When you see a weekly consolidation like this, right? When you go into consolidation like this, okay, and we can go ahead and actually turn on the neutral, the neutral indication right over there. This was actually so perfect, damn. So when you see a consolidation like this on the weekly time frame, and then you break out of the weekly, the first test of the dynamic, especially when it is green, is a buy, okay? Especially when it's green. But over here, it was definitely a buy. Why? Because we had the tempo white, we had the dynamic green, and we came down and tested on the USD pairing as well as on the Bitcoin pairing, right? We showed that to you in the beginning of this video. All right, and let's wrap up with a quick look at the Ichimoku. And right over here, you guys can see that the Ichimoku hasn't been too helpful for us on Solana. The cloud did turn green, which is a good sign, essentially indicating that the trend is strengthening. But really, guys, I wish I could give you guys a target. I know a lot of you guys are looking for a target number, but it would be rather disingenuous of me to give you guys a target just for the sake of it, right? Over here at Mango, we don't try to get too smart with our trend trades. We don't try to outsmart the market and pick a top. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been in that position where you have taken entire profits out of a trade because you're scared to lose those profits, only to see the trend go on and on without you, right? So we don't want to make that mistake, right? We're going to be keeping it humble, keeping it simple, keeping it Mango, keeping it stress free, and we're going to be riding this trend. And hey, if you guys do want updates on how I manage this trade, right, essentially I'll just let you guys know right now, I'll be using the dynamic as my major invalidation point. And if we do get a trend change before we lose the dynamic, I will go ahead and update you guys if you guys want me to update you guys. So let me know by hitting this thumbs up. That's how I'll be gauging, and leaving a comment down below. So until then, guys, do the mango way, do the easy way, do it the stress-free way, do it the breezy way. Ciao.